Think back to your foreign language classes in high school. Was it difficult to learn a new language from scratch after having grown up all your life in an English language environment? Now think about, instead of just having to take a foreign language class, if you and your family had to move to another country, one where they did not speak your language and you did not understand their language. This is the experience of many children who, along with their families, immigrate to the United States every year. According to statistics from the U.S. Department of Education, in 2003, 9.9 million children spoke a language other than English at their homes, and of these, 2.9 million children who had spoken English with some difficulties. What kind of challenges do these students, as English language learners, face in attempting to learn how to read, comprehend, and communicate in the English language as they navigate their way through the American school system?
Generally, there are several common problems children who are English language learners face when learning how to speak, read, and understand English in the U.S. The oral language that these students know and the written language that they must learn will have differing degrees of overlap. They have yet to develop the rich and varied schemata that many children internalize from growing up in a literate culture. The rich and varied schemata about literacy that they internalize from growing up in their culture may need to be altered. Their verbal abilities may not match what they actually know. And also, they may be reticent to express themselves verbally due to their lack of confidence with working with English. In addition, in a classroom environment, we see more specific problems that children who are English language learners face in their reading and comprehending of the English language. These include the amount of unfamiliar vocabulary, word order and sentence structure may be different, the large amount of figurative language in our English texts, grammar usage may be different, especially in all of our exceptions to the rules. Imagery and symbolism in our texts are difficult. They may have unfamiliarity with drawing conclusions, analyzing characters, and predicting outcomes. Literary terms for story development may not be understood. Story themes and endings may be hard to explain. They may also have unfamiliarity with the different meanings of our words. They also may have difficult text structure with a topic sentence, supporting details, and conclusion. And particularly, our use of homonyms and synonyms may be difficult to them.
It is our jobs as teachers to help these students reach their full potential regardless of the language barrier that they face. However, there are many challenges we, as teachers of these students, face when working with English language learners. Some of these challenges we face include the following examples. We must prepare students to succeed at learning how to match sounds and words with a print different from what they're used to by building their oral English skills. We must prepare for success both students whose native language overlaps a lot with English and those whose native language overlaps very little. We must also work to build these students' conceptual understanding and also realize that they may sometimes be unable to verbalize the conceptual understanding that they actually possess. Past researchers have attempted to create strategies and solutions to address both the challenges these students, as English language learners, face when trying to gain an understanding of English and the problems teachers of these students have to overcome while working with them. Here, we will present two sets of techniques and principles developed by researchers to address this issue.
In 1995, Lisa Delpit presented a set of principles important to the teaching of the English language that can be used when working with English language learners. Some of these included: demand critical thinking of the students, ensure access to the basic skills, conventions, and strategies essential to success in our U.S. education. Empower these students to challenge racist views of their competence and worthiness. Recognize and build on their strengths. Use familiar metaphors and experiences from their world. create a sense of family and caring for these students. Monitor and assess needs, and then address them with a wealth of diverse strategies. Also, honor and respect children's home cultures. In 2004, Michael Camille and Elizabeth Bernhardt developed a set of techniques specifically for working with English language learners. Some of these included: use the 20% rule. This means to take advantage of and build upon any overlaps between the child's native language and English. Give English language learners and yourself plenty of time. Recognize that it takes extra time for these students to understand and respond when using English. Use the Rosetta Stone technique. For example, make a chart with common English words alongside their equivalent words in the child's native language. Involve parents, siblings, and other speakers of the children's language to provide a bridge between languages to help children get started. Use all available people resources, including tutors, other students, volunteers, and administrators. In assessing students, give them the freedom to choose the language in which to respond. Use informational texts as a significant part of instruction, such as nonfiction texts that can be applicable to child's life outside of school to bring in the child's background knowledge. And finally, use alternative assessment strategies in order to incorporate a child's multiple intelligences and to help them develop literacy skills through diverse modes of expression.
As future teachers in an ever-increasingly diverse society, it is important for us to recognize that the issue of having English language learners in our classrooms is relevant to us. Using the techniques presented by the researchers we just discussed, we can do our part to help these students overcome the language barrier that faces them, receive equal learning opportunities, and achieve their full potential.